Good morning. My name is Alexios, Raptor Freak here. Friday morning, the Raptors are just about to start a 5-game road trip in Detroit tonight against Coach Casey and the Detroit Pistons. It's not going to be an easy road trip overall, but this may be the easiest game of the trip. So we need to make sure we get off to the right foot and start with a victory. Yes. So just real quick, I'm looking at what's going on with the Pistons right now. It's very interesting. They've lost a lot this year, guys. Like, they are a losing team. We do not need to be losing to them because that's what playoff teams do. They beat lesser teams than them. They beat teams that have a poor record. And this is the thing about Detroit. They're a trap team. They have been beating big-time teams with effort and energy and hustle because Coach Casey gets that out of that team out there. They may not be the most talented group, but they can strike like a snake in the corner and get you all of a sudden when you don't least expect it. So we can't take this game lightly at all. They're going to try and beat us because of Coach Casey's revenge, as usual. He was our coach of the year, and then we fired him, sent him away within the same month. So he's always going to have that chip on his shoulder. And whenever Casey plays us, this is always going to be an issue. But this is the thing. Playoff teams beat teams like that team, Detroit, tonight. So we need to ensure that there's a victory. I know that Nick Nurse will have a good game plan for tonight, and we need to get out there and kick their ass. The last time we played them, they beat us. So they're already up 1 on us this season. And in that last game, Goran Dragic played in that game. So that just tells you how long ago that game was. So we need to show them that we've improved, that we're fully healthy now for the most part. I have a feeling that they may hold out Scotty and Gary still tonight and leave them for the second night, the back-to-back with Milwaukee tomorrow night, because that would make more sense to me. I think we could cruise without them tonight. If one of them shows up tonight, that's great. But I think that it's likely that at least one of them will be out, if not both of them, just to save them for being fresh against the Bucks tomorrow night in Milwaukee. So, but this game, no matter what, we need to win this game in Detroit tonight, no matter what. Because, like, honestly, Detroit is a kind of a version of the Raptors in some ways, not with the length and this talent skill level, but they're similar in their MO and what they like to do. They like to crash the boards. They like to get really aggressive. They like to cause turnovers, and they play a really high energy kind of game. So we have to out energy them. We have to outbeat them to loose balls. We need to out rebound them. We need to beat them down low in the points of the paint. And then obviously something that we haven't been doing lately that we need to do better is shoot better than the other team. That's right. We need to finally get a better, higher percentage from the field against the Pistons tonight. And this will all be a recipe to win. Because, like, this 5-game road trip, it ain't going to get any easier. We got Detroit tonight, Milwaukee tomorrow, and then Tuesday or Monday or something, we go and see Miami, and then it's going to be Dallas and Washington to end it. And I think we can get 3 out of the 5. If not 4 out of the 5, I'd like to get 4 out of the 5. All right, good morning. Let's see what's going on here. Kenny, he's saying, I don't know, man. It's Casey against the Raptors. And I know he's laughing about it, but it's also, there's a lot of truth to this. Like, honestly, I keep saying this. It's real easy for him to motivate his team for this game against Toronto. He says, this team fucked me over so bad, guys. Do it for me. Do it for Coach Casey. You know, that kind of stuff. It's real easy to fire up a team to play against the Raptors in this situation. So, G saying Scotty practiced yesterday. Gary didn't. Yes, that is true. Scotty did practice yesterday. Gary did not. But they're both traveling with the team, which is a good sign. That's going to be the whole thing. Like, basically, they've gone into the U.S. at this point. They left yesterday, and they're in the U.S. side of the border for this 5-game trip, which is good because if it was like where they had to play 1 game in U.S., 1 game in Canada, back and forth, that could be bad for us. Like, I don't want too much of that. I'd much rather we get these long home stands where we get like 6 or 7 games at home, and then we go on the road for 6 or 7 games. Because messing with the border too much right now with the pandemic could spell trouble, and I don't want to have nothing to do with that. So if they're going to be over there for a while. If they're going to be here for a while. I don't want them traveling more than they have to. And they really should take this in consideration next year for the NBA schedule, just in case the pandemic is still being an issue and things that are going on. So I would like the NBA schedule maker to really be smart and clump up our home and away games. Like, if we played half our season in the U.S. and just played all our games in U.S., all in a row, and then we came back and we played a whole section just in Toronto, I would love that. I would love that because that would mean they're barely crossing the border, and they could even work it out where teams that have to play us in Toronto multiple times can play them in a row here in Toronto. You think about that, NBA, because in this pandemic world, we may have to adjust, and we don't want to be playing in Buffalo. We don't want to be playing in Tampa. We want to stay in Toronto. So help us stay in Toronto and be able to play here no matter what. Now, hopefully with the boosters and things going up and things going down, things will change, and this will be less and less of a worry or an issue, possibly. But, I seen the writing on the wall this season, and I've been really, really scared about them shutting us down in Toronto again. And I don't like that. I don't like that worry that we have the only franchise in the league that has to worry about this specific concern. Let's see. Graham, good morning, man. Good morning. Good to see you this morning. We definitely owe them a good beating. We always do. Because, honestly, Detroit has a better record against us since Casey went there than before. We used to beat Detroit, easily. They were just such an easy opponent for us. But since Casey's gone there in the last couple of years, it's pretty even. It's like a 500 matchup. It's not a given. And they're not a good team in this whole period of time. They're still 500 against us in the last couple of years. Now, there's an interesting thing that happened with the Pistons in the last couple of days. They traded Denver to get Beau Ball, but Beau Ball did not pass his physical. He failed his physical, so they're rescinding it. They're sending Beau Ball back to Denver, and they're getting Rodney McGruber back. And I don't know what's going to be the status of Magruder tonight. He may be playing tonight. He's day-to-day. It is all just dependent on, I guess he could just show up and play. Since he was supposed to be traded to Denver, didn't happen. Beau Ball's going sent back, and Magruder's back, so he could play. And other than that, Detroit's injury is Frank Jackson's out. Kelly Olynyk's been out for a while because of his surgery. There's a guy named Livers that's out. And, Corey Joseph is actually back. He was out for a couple of games last week, and Corey Joseph's actually back. So Detroit's fairly healthy. They're pretty healthy with who they have right now. But like I said, we got to out-energy them. They have to get more loose balls, get them more rebounds. If we can offensive rebound like we did the other night against Phoenix, this would be really good tonight also. Because Beef Stew is an annoying guy, and we really got to watch out for Stewart tonight. He's somebody that is really annoying. And then, of course, the new rookie, he's an interesting player. There's a lot of different guys we got to look out for. But really, honestly, the talent level on our team compared to the Pistons should just overtake them. There should be we should just beat them. And especially if we're clicking and we're doing well, and we played at such a high level against the top team in the league on Tuesday, there's no reason why we can't go to Detroit tonight and continue this high-level play against a team that's lesser and kick their ass. Oh, yeah, we owe them a beating. You are right, Graham, and hopefully that's what's going to go down tonight. I'm also really curious to see how many Raptor fans are in the building there tonight. I mean, we don't have a home court here with fans right now, but we could have a home court in Detroit with fans. So I'm hoping that some people, maybe people in Detroit, root for the Raptors, or Windsor people, or somebody can get in that building tonight and show a good, strong support for the Raptors in their building, because we get that pretty often in Detroit, I've noticed. Let's see. Giovanni saying, Casey already got his revenge. I think Raptors beat the Pistons after a loss earlier in the year. No, we haven't played them but once this year, and they beat us the one time we played them this year, and, it sucks. No, this is not over. The Casey's revenge thing will be until Casey retires. He will do this to our franchise for the rest of his career. Trust me. It's something every single game we've got to worry about. He's going to fire up his team against us every single time we play him for the rest of the time that he is coaching in the NBA. This is always going to be a problem with Coach Casey. It's not going to go away. Trust me. This grudge has not gone away, especially since Nick Nurse, the guy who took his spot, is our coach also. And that is part of it, is a little between Nurse and Casey, because you got to think about it. Nurse was Casey's understudy for a couple of years. And then right before, they're right at the cusp, they're building towards a championship, and they're just about close to it. They pull the rug underneath them, and they give it the job to one of his assistants. Of course, Casey has a burn against us. And of course, he's motivated to beat us. And I don't think that that's ever been mended. Nick Nurse and Dwayne Casey, and I definitely know that Masai Ujiri and Dwayne Casey, that hasn't been mended either. So don't underestimate the power of bitterness. Trust me. Don't underestimate the power of bitterness. Oh, yeah, they can hold a grudge. Kawhi Leopard, would you trade Gary Trent Jr. for a good package in return? No, I don't want to trade anybody right now. I know we talked about a couple of trade talks, the LA thing this week with Gary Trent and different things, Ben Simmons talk, whatever kind of talk. I like our guys. I think our guys are good character, even our guys who are struggling right now. I want to give them an opportunity to make good by the end of the season. So I like the guys that we have. Like, once again, you put another element into a recipe, sometimes that recipe changes and it's not as good. It's like if you add something to a cake, it may not be better with that different ingredient. And right now we got a cake that tastes real good, and I don't want to be adding any extra ingredients right now and messing up with the recipe. So right now our recipe is real good. Let's ride with this. Let's see where it gets us to, and we'll see where the weaknesses are, where we're in trouble, where we have a lack, and then in the offseason we will address it, whether it's through the draft, through free agency, or a trade. But for right now, I'm all about standing pat. And this is what the Raptors do most normal years. We just sit on who we already have. Because this is the thing. Masai Ujiri doesn't draft to make mistakes. It's like we don't shoot to miss. We don't play to lose. Masai Ujiri doesn't draft or pick up guys to miss. So if he's got somebody on our roster right now, that's because he's intended to. It's intention. And that's why we got to work through this and work with the guys we have, because these are the guys he wants. Now, if they fail and they didn't do good enough this year, then, we show them the door and we get some other guys in the summer. But I don't like doing stuff in the middle of the season, especially when your team is trending upward. Like, we're trending upward right now, and we could mess that up in a couple different ways, whether it's chemistry, whether it's a new guy comes in and he's just like needs a certain amount of touches and stuff like that, and it takes away from other guys and the way they're developing. I like where we're at, and I like what we got. I think we can go with this. So yeah, no trade talk really from me. I'm not interested in trades for me. Giovanni, what do you think of Raptors trading for Mo Bamba if he's available for a protected first? Because Orlando doesn't want to extend him and give him a raise. Mo Bamba's a great player. He would fit really well with our system. I would love to get Mo Bamba somehow, some way. Sure. If that happens, it happens. But for right now, he's not on the ground with us running. But you know what? He's a great player. He's somebody I endorse, and I would welcome him onto the Raptors if he got here somehow, some way. Lots of Turner rumors connected to the Raptors. Hey, that's another name that I don't mind getting connected to us. And if that happens somehow, some way, I have no problem with that either. Miles Turner's a high character guy, and he would help with some of the stuff that we need in some ways. I mean, especially that whole thing about the center stuff and being able to guard guys like Jokic and stuff like that. So yeah, Giovanni say Miles Turner is going to be a bidding war, and starting price is 2 first-round picks plus a good young player. Wow. Yeah, Indiana's going to try and fleece some teams to get something for their guys right now, and we may not want to be involved in all that. See, this is a thing. Masai Ujiri is an opportunist. He really is smart, and he doesn't want to get into places of desperation or anything like that. And right now, the Raptors are not a team of desperation, so we shouldn't be acting transactional wise, trade wise, like a desperate team, because we're not. We're learning and we're growing as a winning playoff team. And in some ways, we got to see where our development gets us, our chemistry gets us by the end of the year, and then reassess things. But right now, it's way too early to try and throw change things around too much, because we need to give this thing a chance to go with what we got right now. And we really haven't had a proper healthy stretch yet. This has been good so far this new year, but we need to get more time with all them together, meshing, and really understand what potential what we could do with this team is. Like, get in the playoffs and see how far we get in the playoffs with just who we have right now. And then we tinker with it in the offseason. And we don't act from a desperate place. Like, some teams will be desperate and they'll sell the farm to try and get Miles Turner. And that can be their own folly. We don't need to do that. We're in good place. So let's keep going. Giovanni saying, I think they found a serious medical issue with Beau Ball that can't be fixed easily with surgery for Pistons to avoid that deal. That was basically for Nets late second-round pick. Yeah, that's sad. I hope that Beau Ball's okay. I love his father. I want him to be very good and succeed and stuff like that. Hopefully it's not something like what you're saying, but it could be. And it's not often that these trades get rescinded like that for physical fails. And it's very interesting that this happened. And it seemed like a good move to me. Like, honestly, Beau Ball has been a very intriguing player since he showed up in the last couple of years. But I wish him all the best with his health, and I hope that he's okay and his NBA career isn't in jeopardy because of this. Let's see. Giovanni saying Kawhi Leopard GTJ by himself probably gets Raptors, Miles Turner, and Pacers unprotected first-round pick. GTJ is offensively and defensively better than Turner, and Gary looking like defensive player of the year. Gary's 22 only and a two-way player. Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I don't like to speculate too much on trade stuff, guys. I'd much rather talk about the game and talk about what we got to do tonight than worry about like whether Gary's going somewhere or Miles Turner's is coming here or something like that. Yeah, and I don't want to trade Gary. Honestly, Gary's a great fit, and this is the same thing as I said yesterday. He just doesn't. He's a culture fit. He's fitting. He's doing well. Once again, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Personally, I want our guys. Once Dragic walks, that's another $19 million in money to strengthen the bench and target a center if need be, plus 2 draft picks. He's exactly right. G is exactly right, and I stand exactly where G is saying right there. Once Dragic is gone, we get $19 million off the books. We can spend a little bit of money this offseason and keep what we already have. I mean, I know we have some free agents we may need to re-sign this summer, but you know what? We'll be really smart with it, and we'll figure out who we want and who we need to let go from this year. And like I said, summertime's the time to do all this. In the middle of the season, only if you're really making a strong run to make a championship like we did with Marc Gasol trade, that's when you do that kind of stuff. But otherwise, stay away from it. Let you guys develop, especially when you have so much potential. Like the fact alone that like Pascal, Fred, and Gary are developing so much more over their game right now. It's like, and then you don't even count the guys who are totally projects like Scotty and Precious. Like their gains that can come from the potential from these guys can outweigh any kind of addition of a great player in some ways. It's really that we just need to get these guys all together and familiar and going and see what happens. We haven't even gotten that chance, really. So let's keep going. Alexi, this summer free agency is slim. No premier free agents. Well, once again, this is something we don't build from. We build from our own system. We build from development. We build from 905. We build from late draft picks. You know, we find a way. We make things poof appear out of nowhere, whether it's like an undrafted player from Europe like Matt Thomas or something like that. We just have a better system for finding people, even if it seems like there's nobody out there for this year. So I hope they take this dog down the street. It's like one of my nemesis. Every morning when I get on here with y'all, they decide to take the dog next door for a walk, and it just hates me. Like it hears me in here talking to y'all, and it barks at me about it. So please just take your dog down the street. Come on now. All right, let's keep going. John Wall was practicing Raptor shorts. Yeah, that was an interesting picture. I wouldn't read into that too much. I've seen a lot of different players wear Raptor gear that had nothing to do with us at any time. It may be some weird situation where they just have it because they have it around or something like that, but I wouldn't read too much into it. He's a player I would not want on our team. No, I don't want John Wall. He's a high usage, low performance kind of player to me. Like he takes a lot of shots. He doesn't shoot well, and he takes away from a team. He's one of these guys that you don't want on your team because when he's on your team, you're going to lose. You're not going to be a winning team. So, John Wall, you're not welcome here. I have a wall up at the border in Canada against you coming and joining our team. So, I know some people will be like, you're crazy. Get John Wall. No, this is the difference. We talked about Anthony Davis yesterday, how I feel like he has a loser mentality. John Wall, he may have a winning mentality, but he has a game that's a losing kind of game. Because listen, if you have to shoot 30 shots and you're only going to make 10 of them to make 20 points, I don't want that on my team. I do not want that on my team. So, yeah, it's an interesting thing to see him in those shorts, though, especially with his situation with Houston, because he is kind of in limbo and he could be going anywhere. Maybe he's trying to send a message to someone to say, this is where I'd like to land. I'm wearing these shorts. I don't know. Andrew, let's go, Andrew. Let's get revenge on that try-hard Dwayne Casey. That's what Andrew's saying. Yes, we have to do what we can against Casey. We cannot take this game lightly. In fact, I hope the Raptors treat this game like the same kind of playoff intensity that they did on Tuesday against the Phoenix Suns. Because in a lot of ways, Detroit is just as dangerous with Coach Casey's anger and this team, it motivated and energetic team. Like, this is one of the best Detroit teams I've seen in a couple years. Like, they are on their way up. Like they've been mired and bad for many, many years, but they have some good players, good young players, and not some old crappy vets like they had in the last couple of years. They're a young team and they're on their way up. And so we really need to start getting in their heads and beating them consistently because I don't want them getting used to beating the Raptors just because Casey gets them revved up. So, yeah, I'm with you, Andrew. Let's Go. Yeah, let's go to Detroit. Let's get in a car right now and go. No, I'm just kidding. Tom Duke, tragic could be useful in the playoffs. He will be healthy. Tragic. I mean, I don't even want to talk about him, guys. I don't even know what he's doing. I don't care. I don't know what he's doing. He could be secretly working out with the Miami Heat all he wants. He could be doing whatever. I don't care. He's such old, irrelevant news. It's like, just go away, tragic. But that would be really weird if he like made some sort of return to the Raptors at some point this season and decided, yeah, I'm going to start playing for y'all in the playoffs. No, we haven't worked you into anything with our system. You are basically below Svi, and Svi's struggling, and he's almost out of the rotation. So, like, if you came back today, you would not be getting minutes still. It would be the same thing. These minutes on the Raptors right now are premium for the best kind of talent, guys that can do it all on the court. And you can't do enough on the court right now, Goran, to get any minutes with us. So even if you came back right now, you would be sitting on the bench and you would still be like our mentor, tutor, like player coach kind of guy on the bench. And you're not willing to do that at this point. And that is what it is. So what? It's just tragic. It's just tragic. All right, Giovanni. Clippers may want tragic as Band-Aid. Oh, Clippers may want tragic as a Band-Aid. Chris Paul has upper ulnar torn ligaments, and baseball pitchers get Tommy John surgery. Recovery time is 1 to 1.5 years. You don't mean Chris Paul because he's not on the Clippers anymore. I think you mean who is the point guard on their team that just got hurt? I don't remember exactly. Well, yeah, if anybody wants tragic, they can get him. We are taking offers. We'd like to move him. So anybody at all who's interested in an old Slovenian point guard that can barely shoot and can steal a little bit, but that's not all. That's pretty much all they can do. They don't even pass the ball that well. Yeah, you can have them. We are taking all offers. That is the one guy that's on the market from us. And hey, taking offers. Let's hear them. Let's see, Graham. By next year, Delano, Justin, and David will be gold and ready to go. Okay, I'm glad you brought this up, Graham. 905 played again last night. Nobody was there except for David and Isaac and Jody Meeks. Jody Meeks was playing in the game last night. He was bombing threes for the 905. And Bonga got hurt in that game. I don't think it's very serious, but he did have to leave the game at some point. They lost. They lost their first loss to Capital City Go-Go in the G League season that's just started now. It was too bad. But, they hung in there. They played pretty good for most of the game, but they just didn't have enough. And Justin wasn't there. Delano wasn't there. Malachi wasn't there because they're all with the regular team. And, they really just sent Isaac and David with them to Washington to play the Go-Go. So that's pretty much what happened there with the 905 last night. They lost their first game finally in the season. Let's see. Kawhi Leopard, are we one superstar away from being an official team? I think just with one superstar, we could be a super team. You know what? I agree with what you're saying, but I don't think that we're away from it. I think we have it. And that one superstar is Scotty Barnes. Scotty Barnes just got to blossom, guys. If he blossoms with what we already have, we're going to be fine. We don't need anybody else right now. This is really what I think. Like for this year, we don't need anybody else at this point. I thought we needed a center earlier this season, but I don't really think we do at this point because of the way we're playing and things like that. Now, if we get exposed in a really bad game by Jokic or Embiid or something before the end of the year, I'll be like, yeah, maybe we need at least one big, huge guy that can kind of handle them physically. But right now, I don't think so. And I think the one superstar or star that we're away from is Scotty Barnes just growing into who he's going to become. And right now he's middling. He's tired. He's not doing well. He's been hurt. When he comes back, hopefully he'll be fresh. If he comes back tonight or tomorrow night or the next game, hopefully he will be fresh. I'd like to see both of them, Gary and Scotty, back by Miami on Monday. Yeah, we're going to see Kyle Lowry on Monday, y'all. So we need to be really getting ready for this. We got Detroit tonight, Milwaukee, and possibly Giannis tomorrow. And then Kyle on Monday. This week is going to get nasty. And then Luka after that. So, hey, this is a schedule. Oh, yeah, this is a schedule. It's going to be really fun. But I think in your question, Kawhi Leopard, it is really we have that superstar. We're just waiting for him to blossom. So, and even OG could be doing better. Like, honestly, OG and Gary could be more consistent with their scoring and being like right around 20 every single game. That will help also with what you're saying right there. Giovanni saying Paul George. Paul George. Okay, it's Paul George you meant instead. Yeah, it must have corrected you when you said Chris Paul or something. Paul George says Tommy John surgery is out next season at least. Clippers can't tank because OKC gets their lottery picks. Well, see, that's what happens when you let a prima donna superstar come in and be your GM as stipulations coming in. You sell the farm, and then your farm goes out with you, and you ain't got nothing. You're up a creek with no paddle. That's basically the Clippers at this point. They're up a creek with no paddle with what you just said to me. Because Paul George, they mortgaged the future to get Paul George, and now this is what's happened. Wow. And this is going to coincide with Kawhi coming back finally, so they can't get the two of them together anyway, Kawhi. So, oh my gosh, your stupid little thing. Well, if you get me Paul George, I'll come to you. Well, it's not working out, is it? This is hilarious. Honestly, I could see Steve Ballmer just so pissed off and upset about this. I love this situation you just described to me, Giovanni. I think it's hilarious. I don't wish injury on Paul George, but I think it's hilarious. Honestly, Clippers, you deserve this. All your draft picks go to Oklahoma City because you got Paul George. Oh, it's so funny, man. This is funny stuff. Oh, my gosh. Anyway, all right, let's tonight. Out energy the Pistons. Don't let Casey get his revenge. Hopefully some Raptor fans sneak across the border and they're on the other side with the team cheering for them loud. And we can't look past this game tonight and get ahead of ourselves with Milwaukee. But it'd be nice if we could beat the crap out of Detroit tonight, get a good cushion, and get those bench guys in there to rest the starters for tomorrow as much as possible tonight. Like, if we can blow this team out, get up by 20. Don't mess around, Fred. Guide this team to a 20, 30-point lead so you can go sit down for the second half and be ready for Giannis tomorrow. I want you and Pascal sitting on the bench most of the second half because y'all just schooled the Detroit Pistons. That's what I hope happens tonight, because we really don't want to have to play a tight game right down to the wire tonight and then have to go back-to-back against Milwaukee tomorrow. That's not going to be fun. So we need to get a lead tonight and get it done. Kawhi is going to retire in San Antonio. Man, I know you're a Spurs fan just like me, Kawhi, but you know that's never, ever going to happen. You know that's never going to happen. First of all, that city would never, ever welcome him back. And second of all, I don't think he wants to go back there. I don't understand where you're getting this from, Kawhi Leonard. I know you're his namesake, but that just doesn't make sense to me at all. I don't think Kawhi would be welcome there. Honestly, they have murals of him on the walls in San Antonio that they paint over because they're so mad at him for how he treated his exit. He strong-armed them. He wouldn't play that last year because he wanted to force them to move him. So I don't see this ever happening. That's crazy. I'm a fun guy. You think that's going to happen too? That's crazy. I mean, I can't see it. I can't see it. And especially since Kawhi's already in California, he's done. He's in California for the rest of his career. I see him going to Sacramento or, one of the other teams, the Lakers, before he goes to anywhere like San Antonio or something. I see him coming back here before he goes to San Antonio. Like, yeah, he's like, maybe I didn't realize how good I had it in Toronto. Alex McKechnie is like my favorite person in the NBA. I want to be with the Raptors because he tried to steal Dr. Alex to the Clippers when he left. He's like, I want to bring your Dr. McKechnie with me. And we were like, no, Dr. McKechnie is a Raptors employee. He's staying with us. You don't get to take him with you. I'm sorry. This is part of the decision you have to make. You get Paul George and when you're going to the Clippers, or you can stay here with Dr. McKechnie and us and try and repeat. And he made his decision. So, yeah, I don't see it. I think Kawhi would be more likely to come here than go to San Antonio to finish his career. Just from that statement. That's crazy. I don't know why you think that. Because the way he left San Antonio was really bad. Like, there's people in San Antonio that hate Kawhi. He's not like David Robinson. He's not like Tim Duncan. He's not Tony Parker. He's not Manu Ginobili. These guys are gods and loved and revered in San Antonio. Kawhi is not. He's a pariah. They hate him there. They hate him. Trust me, they hate him. Graham, Freddie All-Star won't let us lose the Pistons. Yes. And now he's number 8 on the last recent count that they put out recently. And Pascal showed up at 8 on the front court for the East. This is great. I'm glad to see that these guys are trending upward and moving upward. And, I'm looking at who's in the top spots for these votes. And, the fans wouldn't pick the worst starting five people right now. The way it is right now, it's like Steph, LeBron, obviously, Durant, Giannis, DeMar DeRozan, Trae Young. These are all players that you could get away with starting in the All-Star game. But it'd be nice to see Fred get a little bit further. But I don't know what's going to happen. The one that's really interesting to me is Wiggins. Wiggins is online to start in the All-Star game, which is really crazy to me that it's him instead of somebody like Draymond. Like Draymond is lower than him, and Wiggins is higher, and he's on track to start for the West in the front court right now, which is very interesting. It's really cool. Cali, good morning. Good to see you as always. Let's go, Cali. Milwaukee killed Golden State. We are in for a battle. We need this game tonight. Yes, this may be the easiest one on this road trip, Detroit tonight, because they're going to get harder and harder. Washington may be easy on the other end. Not easy, but one of the gettable ones, more gettable. But these three in the middle, they're high-quality top teams that we're going into their own buildings, and we're going to have to play at a high level. One thing that is going to be nice is we're going to have fans in all these games, and in some reason, the Raptors are road warriors. They played a whole season on the road last year. They do really well in road environments, especially with animosity from the crowd and stuff like that. They thrive in that kind of stuff. And it doesn't hurt that we get some of our own fans in visitor buildings, also in other people's buildings. Also, we get some Raptor fans in the building cheering for them at the away games. That helps too. But you're exactly right, Callie. This is going to be a little bit different tomorrow. The Milwaukee game is going to be a big one because we beat them twice already. They're going to want to try and even that record before the end of the season. That means they've got to win both of the games against us that are left. And this one's in Milwaukee. And I have a feeling that for some reason, Giannis will magically appear for this one, that he'll be okay for this one tonight. Because if he doesn't show up for tomorrow night's game, there's something seriously wrong with him and how he feels about playing the Raptors. Oh, yeah, there's something fishy there. Oh, yeah. All right, let's keep going. Kawhi Leopard saying Freddie is going to be an all-star this season. I totally believe this. No, one way or another. We may not vote him in, but he's going to be an all-star because the coaches will select him to be an all-star. He's getting a good push. He's putting on a good show, and he's got the stats and stuff like that. I hope they put him and Pascal on the team, but if they just put Fred on there, I'll be happy also. But it really is, if we beat these big teams that I just named that we're coming up on this road trip, when we kick some ass on this road trip, that's going to push both these guys up in the votes and also in the consideration by the coaches and other players to get on the team. Oh, yeah, we start kicking some major ass on playoff teams in their own buildings this week. Oh, yeah, we're going to get a lot more consideration for All-Star for sure. Let's see. I'm a fun guy. Oh, my God, we got to see Bobby Portis again. Yeah, we get to see his weird little stare at Pascal. And at least, whatchamacallit, Boogie won't be there because they cut his ass since the last time we played him. It'll be interesting to see Milwaukee with Giannis. Like we talked about this a little bit this week already, that in some ways the Bucks are easier to figure out when Giannis is playing. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. It's easier probably to beat them without Giannis. But, with Giannis playing, it adds a whole other dimension of how you try and beat them. And I think that we have some success when he's out there because we can make him because he's such high usage, we can make him ineffective. Like, we get really good at bothering his shot and making sure that he misses when he shoots. And also let him shoot from the outside. Don't let him drive the basket any kind of way. Hold him off of driving to the basket. Make him shoot from the outside. He's going to miss a lot of shots. He'll be high usage, just like John Wall, and miss a lot of shots and shoot like 25, 30% for the game. That's great. That's a perfect recipe for beating the Bucks. Oh, yeah. But we don't want to get ahead. Tonight we still got Casey's crew. We got to get them first. Let's see. Tom Duke saying Fred VanVleet deserves it, and it does look good. Definitely being noticed. Yeah, he is. He's definitely being noticed. They're talking about him. There's all kinds of articles and different things out there, and it is well-deserved. Well-deserved. And, they're really keen on him. And that's the next thing for Fred is he's got to really realize that, like, now not only Pascal's getting a brunt of, like, the preparation from other coaches for before the game with how they want to stop us, Fred is getting keyed on way more in the last week now. And it's going to be interesting to see if he can continue at this level of production, find holes and cracks in the defense and what they're trying to do to him to still get that level of production somewhere 25 to 30 points a game still. I'd like to see that still happen. And even in the last game, he got 4 3-pointers. He kept the streak going with the 3-pointers and stuff like that. So Portis is going to cry again. Especially the refs are mean to him. Oh, the refs are so mean to me. Oh my gosh. But yeah, it's hilarious. I am looking forward to kind of the Bobby Portis stuff tomorrow with Pascal and stuff. See if there's any more of that. And Pascal can just be ice cold in his veins. He's like, you don't get in my head or nothing like that. Okay, I don't know if there's a whole lot more for me to talk about here. It's like out energy, out hustle, out rebound, more points in the paint over Detroit tonight. This would be all good. And obviously, let's shoot better than a team for once. Like we've been shooting so poorly recently against these top teams. We need to shoot really well against Detroit tonight. It'd be nice to get either Scotty or Gary back tonight or both. But if we don't and they're holding them out for tomorrow, I think that's a great strategy also. Now, it'll be interesting to see who they start tonight, depending on who's available between Scotty and Gary and stuff like that. It will be really interesting to see. I don't want to see Yuta in the starting lineup again. I think this is you're doing him a disservice because he's not ready to do that from his conditioning and coming back from COVID. And I don't really want to see Svi in that lineup either. So if you could stick to the bigs, Precious, Chris, obviously Kem's kind of going to probably start tonight for sure. That'd be great, Nick. But don't, leave the guys who aren't shooting well off of the starting lineup right now for sure. Oh yeah. Let's see. Tom Duke saying Bucks actually look hot spanked. Look. Yeah, they beat the Warriors pretty good. They're an interesting team. Some nights they just don't have it, and sometimes they're really good. But I think some of these top Western teams are having a lot of problems right now. Like Utah's had a lot of problems since we faced them, and even Golden State's struggling to a degree right now. So Kawhi Leopard's asking, Alex, you ever played ball in school or in general? I played basketball like everybody when I was a kid a lot. I played church league pretty competitively, like when I was a preteen and then to my teenage years. I never played in high school because I had a growth spurt late. Like I became like 6'4", like maybe in 11th grade, like as a junior in high school. I got really tall then, and it was behind. I had already been doing other things like being a stoner and a metalhead, and I wasn't really an athlete in high school. But I did play basketball. I played a lot of basketball in my 20s. I used to play like 8 hours a day at this gym in Tallahassee, like just run all day. And when you drink and play, like I'd be slugging beers and running up and down the court with these guys. And I just had so much energy. I do this like 4 days a week, 8 hours a day playing basketball back in my heyday when I was really into it. And then I ran a team in Tallahassee in the city league, the men's league. And I actually like got sponsors, got the uniforms, was the coach, recruited players. I got guys from all the high schools in Tallahassee, some of the best players on high school teams. And I coached and played that team for about 4 or 5 years. So there's different experience. It's not really like pro level or high school level or college level. But I even took a basketball theory class at FSU when I was an underclassman in the 90s. I took it and I was in class with all of the FSU men's basketball players. Like if Scotty had been there at that time, I would have been in class with Scotty Barnes because I was in class with people like Randall Jackson, who played for us. He got in the NBA for just a little bit. What was the other guy? Lamar or something. But it was taught by Donnie Marsh, the assistant coach of the FSU men's team at that time. And it was a theory class. Like they did X's and O's and they taught you all kinds of things about basketball theory and, what you do in certain situations, stuff like that. So I do have a bit of a background in real education in coaching and basketball and stuff like that. I played shooting guard, small forward for the most part. I was a slasher. I had a pretty good outside shot, but I was also really good at rebounding because I was like all about like Dennis Rodman. He was like my favorite player. So I was really active and aggressive, like in his kind of ways, like on the boards and stuff like that. I'm still about 6'4", 6'5". I'm just right around there. So yeah, I'm not short, but I go out to pickup games and I'm one of the taller guys out there usually. And yeah, I usually play center stuff. So at this point, because I'm slower, right? I'm 46, but I do still get out there with 20-year-olds, like around Leslieville here on the basketball courts here in Toronto. So anyway, guys, like, comment, subscribe, share. Thanks for coming this morning. Let's beat Coach Casey and the beef stew and Cade Cunningham and all the other Pistons tonight and get this road trip off on the right foot. We got to get 3 at least out of the 5. If we can get 4, that would be fantastic. All right. Have a great Friday, y'all. I'll see y'all tomorrow for the reaction and the preview for Milwaukee. Let's Go Raptors! We got to beat the Pistons tonight. No ifs, ands, or buts. We cannot let Casey steal this one from us with any kind of weird revenge, anything or nothing like that. We just need to beat them. This is a bad team, and good playoff teams beat bad teams. They don't play down to them and let them beat them. And I really believe in them. Peace out, y'all. Woo! Woo!